Hello guys. Oh, hello guys. There we go. I hope the sound is okay. Is it double or is it okay? Let me know if you can hear me. It's the home setup once again. Hello guys, hello Philip, hello Isa. Welcome back. Regulars, it's nice to see. Sounds already great. Perfect, because it's just this headset, so it's not the usual high quality microphone. I'm still at home. Because it's Christmas or New Year's or whatever. Hey Elena, nice to see you again. We're not as many, of course, it's the holidays. Is there anyone who is new, who has not done the stream before? Because you should tell me now, because if it's just regulars, I might as well go a bit faster so we can do a bit more today. So yeah, write in the chat if you're new, and if not, then we'll be going straight into it, and I won't do too much preliminary stuff. Missed the last few bootcamps because I've been studying about Funberg. Great, but you've tried sculpting before, so it's nothing completely new. Yeah, so today I thought let's do a Pokemon. It's usually a fan favorite. It's super fun, and it's not the hardest. And then as a little bonus, if we have time, or if you want to do it, we can add a little accessory to it. So like a New Year's hat or Santa hat or whatever you think could be fun. And you can actually do whichever you want. But I thought Squirtle could be fun because he has simple shapes. But if we want to get this shell looking good, then we have to use a bit of masking and a bit of extraction, which I'll go into later. So it's a little extra thingy than we usually do. So, like, don't choose don't choose Charizard. That would be a bad idea. But choose whichever you would like to do, and or just, you know, choose Squirtle like me. Just find a reference that you can follow. It doesn't have to be like a nice perfect sideways. I think we're gonna wing it today, but you just need to be able to see what it is you're trying to do. Alright, so I just search Squirtle, and I think this looks pretty decent. I can see most of what's going on. Alright, and since there are no new people today, because no one wrote in the chat, I will go a bit fast over the basics, and we'll go into it so we can actually make a Squirtle that hopefully looks good. So, in Blender, I'm gonna be using my pen today, if I can get it to work, of course. I'll just click here, and there. There we go, and it's working. So you can still see my screencast keys. When I click with my pen, it's left click. If I click the button, it's the middle mouse to rotate. And the right mouse button is my last one, which we're going to be using for other things when we're sculpting. But same as always, hold shift and middle mouse to pan. If you just hold middle mouse, you will rotate. And if you hold control and middle mouse, you will zoom in and out. You can also use the scroll wheel, of course, but not with the pen. There's no scroll wheels, this guy. You can use a mouse. You don't have to use a tablet like me. But when we are sculpting, use a lower strength than you initially think you need, because it tends to be very aggressive. And if you do a hard stroke with your mouse, you can feel it. So put it a lot lower than you think, because with the pen you can apply pressure and it will push harder or softer. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. Let's do a Squirtle, and because I have the chat on one screen, I want to bring in the reference. If you have a screen extra, you can just have it on the screen. But let me just go Shift A or Add, go to Image and Reference and Downloads, and now I just need to download my reference. So where did I put it? I put it. There we go. So open link. Wait. No. Save image as. It needs to be like a JPEG or PNG or something. If it's an HTML file, you probably need to find another reference, or crop it with the cropping tool. You can also do that. Let me go Squirtle ref. So everybody, make sure you get your reference ready to go, so you can follow along and see what you're doing. Squirtle ref. And I will click G to grab and X to move it back. Then over here I want to reset my rotations. Not reset, I want to set them to 90, 0 and 90. If you want, like, working on another axis, you can totally do that, that's up to you. But this way it's just pointing straight. And then I'll just G and Z to move it up a bit, and G and Y to move it back a bit, so I can just see it in the back here. Maybe move it a bit closer. And then we can also kind of see the proportions a bit. So how big is the head compared to the body. So it's kind of nice to have it. Okay, so first off, we need to make a head. It's a simple shape. And we're gonna block out all of the shapes with some very, very light modeling. and then we're gonna go into sculpting, because it's gonna be a lot faster this way than if you sit and pull every single thing out of one cube, which you can totally do. So the first thing, we're gonna click on our cube, and as always, if I'm going too fast or you're missing something, write in the chat and I'll, slow down or go back to it. I don't want to lose you guys, especially since I might be going a bit faster, so it's extra important that you write me and tell me if it's too fast, because otherwise you're not learning anything and just sitting and doing 3D by myself with some spectators. Okay, so I click on my cube, I go to the wrench here and go to modifiers, and then I want to add a subdivision surface. What you can do in a fast way is hold Control and click 1, 2 or 3, doesn't really matter. The higher you click it, the more subdivided it will be, and it will pop out over here automatically, so you don't have to go and find it. You can just do the hotkey Control 3, and then you can increase it a bit if you want. I'll go to like 5, I think, and same in the render. And we want to make sure it's round, because it's a cube we used, and you can see it has like it's flattened on these sides here. So if you go to modifier, deform, and add what is called a cast, you can see that it's instantly it's rounded out. I can see how it looks. This is before, this is after. You don't even need to touch the settings here. You can just leave it as is. Maybe you can, or Control set to go back. You see, this is what it does if you fiddle with it. So just leave it there, and that's our head. So I'm gonna move it up a bit, G and Z to move it. I'm gonna scale it a bit. I'm gonna try and keep approximately the same size as he is over here. I'll just use, something like that. And for the body, I just kind of want to use the same shape, and then make it bigger and a bit longer. So I'm gonna click Shift and D to duplicate, a shortcut, and click Z to move it a bit down. And as we can see, the head is a bit like in front of the body, so I'll click G and Y, move it a bit back, and I'm gonna scale it along the Z axis. So I will click S to scale, Z, move it up slightly, and then I want to just scale it everywhere, so S and scale. Let me just see if it matches. It's a bit big, so I'm gonna scale it a bit down again. Wait. Just need to get the height right. That's not too bad. Okay, now let's look at it from the front, because clearly this is. I need to move it. If you want to look from the side, use your numpad, or click up here. You can use this so you can look directly from the side, which is super useful. So you can have like an orthographic flat view, and then you can just click G to move. You don't even have to click which axis you're using. So I'm gonna go like this, I think, and you can see that his body is wider than his head. So we need to scale it along the x-axis in my case. S and X. Move it a bit. And I think this is about it. Because of course it can be rounded, but we can always sculpt that. I like this general shape for now. And with that said, let's go to sculpt mode. So click on the body, click up on here and go to sculpt mode. And as always, make sure that the first thing you do is that you have symmetry on. If you don't have symmetry on, you're gonna work on one side and it's gonna be a mess. Oh, and the thing we need to do before we can actually do anything is to apply our modifiers. Otherwise, it's locked. So go to the little drop-down menu on your modifier stack, click apply, and apply. And now we can move. And now we select which axis we want to mirror on, and this is across the, I'm guessing X. Let's try X. Yes. So everything I do on one side is gonna be mirrored to the other. And a few hotkeys. F to increase the brush size. You can see it up here as well. When I hold F, or just click it actually, sorry. Click F and move my mouse, it goes up and down. If I hold shift and click F, it's the strength. And remember, that's the one I told you use with a lower strength in general. When you're using the mouse, it doesn't matter that much. And now the grab brush, sorry. But the moment you start using clay like this, make sure it's not too high of a strength. So maybe go down to 100 with the mouse. Okay. But click G to grab. Make the brush pretty big by clicking F. And let's go to a graphic side view. So I'll click on the X or click 3 on the numpad. And right away you can see his head is going out from his neck, but his belly is also going out. And if you look at other reference photos, let's see what we have. Maybe I have something from the side. Here you can see like his chin is above. Here is a good one actually from the side. So his belly is very round here, and he has very much a spherical head. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull out the belly bit. So click close to the middle here, and also down here. Want to make sure that it gets rounded, and then you want to look from the side and make sure. Oh, look what happened! My symmetry was not on for some reason, so I have to redo. Apply again, set it, and now I'm gonna try again. It's very good to check often if it's going the right way. Something like this. Oh, and see here, because I clicked too close to the sides, it didn't get the belly out. So what you can also do is you can just look at it from the front and hold Control, and then it's gonna drag perpendicular to the faces. So I can hold Control and just click, and I can kind of see a bit better what's going on. And I kind of want to squash him in a bit as well, so he's not so fat. So just something like this. Move around a bit, so it's from every angle. And this a tiny bit out. So I'm just trying to get like that shell shape going. I don't know how well it's going. And don't worry about the back right now, we're gonna do that later. Got a bit too fat now. And you can also try and just smoothing it by holding shift. Sometimes that fixes little errors you made. And lastly, I'm gonna look from the bottom. I'm gonna make sure that this has that rounded feeling. Again, you can hold Control to drag out a bit from where you the faces are. Something like that, a little smooth. Let's start with this. It can be a bit better, but again, we don't want to go too far into it. So we have a head, so I'm going to go out of sculpt mode, back to object mode, and we're just going to create the same thing. We're going to make a cube, and we're going to make it, we don't have to make it round this time, we just need to add some subdivisions. So Shift A, make sure you haven't clicked on anything, Shift A, Mesh, Cube, scale it down, let's see what size we want, click Control 3, and let me see the thickness, something like this. I'm gonna put it over here, I'm gonna move it a bit out, and I want one of the sides of the cube to look the direction I want the arm, and I don't think I want his arms to go forward. I think I just want it to go downwards in like an A pose. So I'm gonna click Tab to go into edit mode, and I will click R and Y to rotate a bit. There we go. Next up, I wanna make sure I have X-ray on. So this guy up here, you can also click Alt and Z. I'm gonna drag select all of these and G. Oh, And then you also want to make sure that you are in front perspective. So in my case it's the y-axis, because then you can just drag them out a bit. And what we can also do is we can extrude by clicking E on the keyboard. Oh, that's R, sorry. E. If you wanted to get a bit bigger or have more geometry. Don't know if we want that in this case though. I do want to make it thinner, so I click S for scale. Something like this. And maybe actually I want to extrude it once actually, and then scale it a bit down to hand. That's kind of up to you. That's also the kind of vibe you want to go for. I want to make sure I push this into his arm, so it's like a little sausage, all set to go out of this. And it got a bit too long, but that's an easy fix. We just select all of them, move it a bit back. Move it a bit back. This we can scale a bit, so it's not too chunky of an arm. I think that's better. This is also supposed to be a hand, so cool. So we don't want to make two of these. We already have one, and now we want to mirror it. So we just work on one side, and then it just works. So I'm gonna go to the modifier stack again, add modifier, generate, and mirror. Or you can just say add modifier, and you can search for mirror. It's gonna pop up. And because we moved the cube, it doesn't work right now. It just tries to mirror it from here. But if you apply the transformation and reset it to its origin, which is the center of the world, it's gonna mirror it across that. You can also tell it to mirror across an object like this. That would also work. But in our case, I'm just gonna click Control and A and say all transforms. And it goes to the other side. Very nicely. Cool. Let's make some legs. We don't have to apply the modifiers for now. Just we're just getting the shape. Shift A, cube. We go to side view. Again, you can click up here in the little gizmo. Gonna scale it. Control 3 to get the shape. That's actually a decent fat leg. And I kind of want them to go a bit outwards, but not too much. Again, G and Y, G and X to move it straight here. So let's see some more reference. His legs go kind of out in like a little arc they have. So he kind of has a knee, but without having a knee. So let's rotate along the X-axis. So it goes pretty much forward first. And you can see if you click tab which way it's looking. And I don't think this is enough, so I'm gonna rotate a bit more. Something like that. And now we can go to X-ray. You can shift, you can drag all these. And let's first move them out a bit. And rotate a bit. So we get the knee here. And then E to extrude, rotate, and move it back again. And then we can select these to get a bit more knee vibe. And we want the foot to be flat. So two tricks we can do here. First of all, we can select all the vertices, click S for scale, and go on the Z axis, which is gonna scale them all so they're gonna be exactly flat and perpendicular. And we also want it to be flat, his foot, which is not right now. So you can click Control and R, or you can go over here to the loop cut tool. Control R is faster, of course. You just hover to the side of the mesh, you left click to accept, and you can go all the way down to get this. And I think we're gonna make it a bit thinner, and then we're gonna pull out the toes later. So let me just select all these. Let me just scale them all, because it looks like so these two. So I'm gonna select the back vertices, S for scale, and X, and make it a bit thinner on the back side. A bit more. Something like that. Nice. And maybe these a bit back, because we're gonna pull out the toes from here, so we want a bit to work with. And I don't know if I got too... I think I pulled out too much, so I'm just gonna go back here, G and Y. Oh, again, you can see I'm not in X-ray mode right now, because it only selected the front faces. So I'm gonna redo that, Alt-Z, G and Y to lock it. And that's a lot better. Don't mind if it got too... we can always scale this out a bit here. Something like that. Cool! Again, we want to mirror this guy. So, add modifier, generate, mirror. And it doesn't work right now because we need to apply the transforms. So Control A, all transforms, and we got ourselves some legs. Now, if you do anything to the leg, you can see it's gonna do it across the center down here. What you can do is you can go back to edit mode by clicking tab, go to X-ray, and let's say you want to rotate it 90. It's gonna do it from its own origin and not from the world origin. So that's a way you can work on it without having to apply over and over or work with a new pivot. So here we got a little guy. He looks a bit off balance, so I might just exaggerate the feet going back a bit and the knees a bit front like this. I think that's better because we're gonna pull out the feet anyway, so and he might also be a bit more leaned forward in order for him to... He is always leaned forward, I guess, Squirrel here. So I think I'm gonna select the body, I'm gonna click R to rotate and X to lock it. Rotate a bit forward, move it a bit forward, and the head we need to G and Y, move it forward too. And of course the arms needs to be moved a bit as well. And I think this looks better. Because otherwise he would, especially with the shield on the back, he would just fall backwards all the time. And we can still fix it later, but just an important thing to notice. A character will look off if you can see it should be falling. You kind of need to have some kind of center of balance. Okay, lastly we'll make a tail. It's gonna be pretty much the same. So I'm gonna go Shift A in object mode, make a cube, scale it, Control 3. And let me see here. I want it to be thin first, something like this. Put it up his butt, and this is supposed to be in the middle, luckily, so I don't have to move it sideways. Next up, I'll go into edit mode by clicking a tab. I'll go up here. I'll rotate it so it looks the way I want it to go. Then I want to select. I want to go to X-ray again. You can see the moment you do it wrong that it's that you forget it because it's gonna mess up everything. So X-ray. Select this, and let's see. So first I just want to grab it a bit. And now I want to rotate this a bit more. Then I want to extrude it. And then I want to scale this part here. And this part I want to scale down. And don't worry that it's not perfectly round. We just want it to be somewhat the right shape. I can't figure out, is his tail... Because it's 2D, right? So is his tail a bit flat? A bit pushed in, maybe? I have to look at some references to see... It's hard to tell with the 2D reference, but let's do it just for... to be sure. So I'm gonna select everything, S and X, and squash it in a bit. I think that makes more sense, yeah. Just try something. So So what we could do is we could add a loop cut in the middle, again Control R, and then we can just take these vertices and move them out a bit to get the shape. I don't know if that's better, because it does add more stuff we need to push around. But it's up to you. Again, we're gonna sculpt it in a second, so it doesn't need to be perfect. But yeah, this is our base. Let me know if I was going too fast, or if you need a minute to get this far, because it is important that you are at this step before we start sculpting anymore. Otherwise, it's gonna be yeah, it's gonna be a long one for you. So if you are with me, or if you're not, you can tell me right in the chat if there's any questions or something. Fire away, because it'd be nice to know where you guys are, especially because we're not that many today, so we can actually have a little bit more intimate than one-on-one if you guys want any specific help. Then I'm actually available today for that. It's a bit harder when we are many people. Because I can't wait for 20 people, but I can wait for free. So if you are ready to go to the sculpting, let me know. If you're not ready, let me know. I'll just give you guys a second. Yes, I can show you how to make the feet flat. So let me just make a new cube to show it. Not a cube. Shift A, mesh, cube. I'll go to orthographic view, clicking on numpad or clicking up on the icon here. Control 3 to make it subdivided. And let's say I've rotated like this, and I've scaled it down. I have extruded this, and let's say this is my leg, and I want this to be flat. Because right now it's hard to rotate and hit exactly. You can try, but it's really hard. So I usually click S and Z. Let me show it like this. S and Z, and you can see it evens it out when you hit 0. And then you have perfectly flat vertices, but you also want to flatten the mesh by making a loop cut to squash it down. So you go over here, loop cut, click, wait, just once. I like using the Control R. Then you just pull it down, and you have a flat foot. Hope that makes sense, Billis. I'm up to speed, Burmassive. Yes, great, Lehman. We're gonna do that the moment we will start sculpting. I'll just do it right away. Save as. Just put my downloads. Squirtle. Oh. Sculpt. CO1. Of course. We're also gonna flatten them more later in the sculpting, but it's just nice to have something kind of flat to work with as of right now. Okay, I am guessing we're up to speed now. I think we're just gonna work, because it's a cartoon character. It doesn't. The individual parts don't belong together, so we're not gonna merge them today. We're not gonna join them. It's gonna be very hard to work with in the end, because we kind of want them separate, and you also want them to have different colors if you want to color them. So the moment you merge them, you have to retopologize, and you have to do UVs, etc., etc. And this way we don't have to do anything. So let's start with the head and get the shape right. So let me just find a reference. Let me look at different angles. If you look here, it looks like he has a bit of a cheek. Same here. So we need a bit of jaw, and the rest is still oval. But you can see it goes out a bit to give him some kind of characteristic of a mouth instead of just being a a head. It also looks like he has a tiny bit of a nose going out. Let's see, is there any more good pictures? Yeah, so a bit of this part is going out a bit, and then we can make the eyes. I kind of like it when it goes. If we make an eye socket and then add an eye, but we can kind of do both. So let's click on the head. Let's apply the modifiers. Apply, apply. So it's good to go. And we don't need to add more geometry for now. This is perfect to create some shape. So go to sculpt mode. Again, make sure you're in symmetry. I am not, so I'm gonna click X. Just double check and Control Z. And I think I want to use the grab brush first. Again, the shortcut is G, as in when you are grabbing something in object mode. And let's look at the reference one more time. I like this one. See, it goes out a bit here. Here you can also see it. So a bit of jaw. How it's approximately 1/3 of his face. I'm gonna see it over here actually. So 1/3 up in his face. I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. I'm gonna, oh, a bit smaller again. Just gonna grab it out a bit. A bit here. Can you hold Control and just drag out from there if you want to. And we also need to match the bottom of his chin with the newly figured jaw here. So remember to pull out down here as well. Just ever so slightly. And his mouth and nose also go a bit out, so we can pull that out a bit too. And his eyes go a bit in, so we can actually, not that much, we can actually squash that in a bit. Something like that. And again, his nose out a bit more. His mouth. Okay. And then this will go in a tiny bit here. And this will go out a tiny bit. So I'm just making sure I get the shape I want. It's like so. Checking it from multiple angles. If it looks right. Something like that. Kind of need a bit more chin going here. Okay. Let's just let me see if it's too low. It is. It's too low for that. Okay. So the nose is gonna be approximately right here. So I'm just gonna select the clay strips. Again, if you can't see what they're called and you don't really know them that well, go down here and click names, and you can always drag them up. But I'm gonna use the clay strips. I'm just gonna ever so slightly carve the nose. Or the mouth, I guess actually it is. It's the mouth. Because the nose is just 2 tiny dots, but we can't really make them yet, so just the mouth. Maybe make a line for it. And you can see if you did a good enough job of making the jawline here. Because it should be right where the mouth should be. Something like this. Alright. Still wanted to look round. Okay. So next up, I think the eyes got a bit too wide. But we can still fix that. So again, clay strips. Again, if you're using a mouth, lower your strength a lot, because I have sensitivity on, so I can feel it. But if you use a mouse, go down to 0.1 or something. And to carve inwards, you hold Control and you carve a bit. And if you just want to carve out, you just carve. And you can also hold Shift to smooth a bit, to fix what we did before. So you can build a bit up, and then you can smooth it. And then you can hold Control and carve it. That was too much. Again, we don't want to do too much here. We just want again the general shape, something like this. I think that's good. Okay, so that's the base of the head. I think we wanna go a bit further with that, just so we can see the mouth and the eyes, and then we're gonna go to the fun part, which is the shell. So right off the bat, we need to give ourselves more geometry, and you can check how much we have by going up to this little icon here and go statistics. And you can see right now it's only 6,000, which is super low and has been great so far, but we need more. So I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna click on the remesh button here. I'm gonna go to write it. Don't drag it. That will crash your things instantly. So I'm gonna write 0.02. Oh, 0.02. Why is it not working? There we go. And then I'm gonna click remesh, and you should save around this point. And I actually don't think that was enough, so I'm gonna go to 0.01. And you might be asking, how do you know if it's enough or not? Well, you don't usually know, but you just like get a hunch. And the more you sculpt, the more you kind of feel it. So this is better, I think. I can see I should have smoothed it more myself, because now we have to manually smooth everything. But you can do that really fast. Just hold Shift, go over the mesh so it doesn't look all squared, but nice and smooth. Just hold Shift and go over it if you didn't do it before. Smooth, 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 smooth. And there we go. Now I want to create the eye holes, so I'm going to use the blob tool. That's the leftmost one. I'm going to hold Control, make the brush smaller, and just want to create an eye socket. And they're pretty round at the top, so you need a kind of small brush here. So you get this nice rounded look. And this doesn't have to be perfect, it's just a hole. And then they are much more flat at the bottom here. So kind of create this flat. Wait, that was too much. That's not too bad. You can use the grab tool again if you need to adjust a bit your eye sockets. So now we want to make them a bit more squared, and I think I can use, let me just try it first, the scrape tool. No, it's not good. Maybe. Sometimes you have to try out some different brushes and see how they work for you. I don't like this one actually. What I'm gonna do instead, I'm just gonna use something build in a bit more, so really get the hole going. And then I wanna, with the clay strips or maybe the flatten tool, wanna flatten the sides a bit, looking directly at them from the side, to get a more nice clean look on the edges here. So something like this, and over here as well. So I'm using the flatten brush right now for this specific, and this in here doesn't really matter, we don't use that. And I also think I want to flatten the outside a bit. Flatten, flatten. And you can of course smooth in the end if you don't want it to be too extreme. And maybe we want to use the grab brush in the end, just to, if the flatten tool worked too good, which is okay. We can go something like this. And we have some eye holes. We can always revisit them later. I just want something where I can put some eyes in. And speaking of eyes, let's make some eyes. Shift. Wait, we have to first mask. We have to go out of sculpt mode. I'm gonna go Shift A, mesh, and let's just use a UV sphere this time. I think that's gonna be fine. And I want it to be 90 degrees, so I'm gonna click R, X, and 90. I will move it somewhat like this, and I'm gonna scale it a lot along the y-axis. And scale a bit here, and scale along the X, so it's this oval thing, because he has oval eyes. And then I need to rotate a bit along the Z. And now we just need to make it match somewhat. Something like this. And I think this is good. Okay. So I got my eye, and again I want to Control A and apply all transforms, and I want to mirror it, so you can work on both sides simultaneously. Oh, come here. Mirror. Alright, and I don't need to apply it yet, it doesn't really matter. Now I want to go into sculpt mode on the eyes. Oh, actually not yet. I think I want to smooth. No, I'll do that after. Sculpt mode. I decided. Sculpt mode on the eyes. Grab brush, and then your most important task here is just to make it match with the eye socket. So it's slightly inside it on the edges, and slightly out of it in the middle, so to speak. So it should be pretty close. Something like this. And again, we can always fix them both later. I think this is okay. Again, it's not gonna be the most pretty eyes, I can definitely see that. I also need to... You can see here that it's looking kind of weird. Oh, there we go. It's better. And these are more flat, maybe. And the skull here needs to be fixed, so I'll just go back to that. Object mode, click on this, go to sculpt mode, and I need to fix the face, because it's not round anymore. That's the hard part about sculpting, that sometimes you kind of lose a good shape for no reason. And actually I think what is wrong is that his eyes are actually like perfectly flat here. Like there's no round edge. So let's try and create that. So you can use the scrape tool in this case here, and you just go crazy on the edge. It's gonna fuck up one of the sides a bit, but it creates this. Oh, it's supposed to create it. Maybe and use a bigger brush. It's not exactly what I want. What about the plateau? No, the flatten. Maybe if I flatten the outside a bit more. Something like this. I think that's better. So I'm just gonna flatten it so it's not as round. Try and smooth out the outside here. Flatten, 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 flatten. Okay, we can always change the eye as well. We don't need to worry too much about that. I think this was better. Yeah, that's better. Now I just need to smooth this part here. Again, hold shift to smooth. Okay, I'll take it for now. Let's now go back to the eyes. Wait. And let's give them a subdivision, like Control 2, I think. And you can also shade smooth. And I think... Can I do that now? Yes, you can still move them. So I think I'm gonna push them in a bit. They're a bit too puffy. And maybe I can just smooth them. Yeah, I think I can. So I'm just smoothing the eyes so they're not puffing out so much. And still make them go to the edge, of course. There we go. Smooth a bit. Something like that. I think that's actually okay. Alright. And they need to be remeshed because you can see the pinching here from the eye, which we don't want, but we can always fix it later. Okay, that's some ugly eyes, but let's move to the mouth. So click on the head, go to sculpt mode, and let's start by just creating the mouth with the crease sharp. And make it pretty narrow. And we have this little mouth going out like this. It's doing almost a kind of a smile, and at the end it goes a bit up, and this goes, and you can just click smooth to kind of delete what you made if you don't like it. So I think it goes something like that. And the grab tool can also be used to just move it a bit. Something like that. And then if you go to the clay strips and you go very low in size, you can kind of build up the mouth here. Maybe smooth out a bit. So we actually make the mouth go out. The other thing was more to get the feel of where it's supposed to be. Again, low strength if you're using a mouse and not a mouse pad. It's gonna be very tricky otherwise. Something like that. Make it a bit bigger. Make it go a bit out here. I'm gonna smooth it a bit so it doesn't look so weird. And smooth here a bit. There we go. And we also want to build the lower side up, of course. Otherwise it's going to be a very weird mouth. And you always want to build a bit out onto the surface so it doesn't have this very sharp line here. So of course do the actual mouth, but then also move a bit down to the chin in this case. Something like this, and then I always build it down a bit. Because the more we smooth, it actually looks like a smooth surface instead of being, I don't know, crazy duck lips. So smooth now, let's see how it looks. Smooth, hold shift. Not too bad, it needs a bit more here. Bit more. And be careful not to go into your line, so it ruins the whole thing. I think this is better. There we go. And we have a mouth. It actually helps a lot with the face. For sure, actually. So I don't know if it's gonna look good, but we can do what's called pinching. That's where is it? It's a brush. Oh. It's... oh, there it is. Pinch right here. So what it's going to do is going to take two sides and push them together from the point where your mouth is. So it's going to make a sharper mouth. If it's going to be better, I don't know, but we can try it. Maybe it's actually pretty good. Sometimes it works better than others. And then if you use the crease again, crease polish for example, you can hold control to build up an edge. So if you only want the edge here to go upwards and not build a wider area, you can just build, hold the control, build just this part here. Again, I think we're a bit low on geometry to do this. Yeah, maybe that. Because if I don't have enough geometry, it's just gonna pull from everywhere. So maybe we'll say that this is good for now for the mouth, and let's move to the body because we kind of need to move on from here. Just make sure you have some eyes and you have a mouth. So object mode, click on the body, and again we need to make sure that this is round and not like this. So let's add some subdivision, control 3, shade smooth, and let's just apply it and go into sculpt mode. And we don't need to do much here because his body matches kinda with what we actually want. We just need to create his shield or shell or whatever we wanna call it. So the easiest way, in my opinion, is to do what's called masking and then extract the mask. So again, make sure you are in sculpt mode and have clicked on the body. And then you go up here to the mask and just set the strength to 1 here. And then you just mask out the area that you want to be the shield. And if you can look at some reference, but it kind of goes in like a soft curve around his arms and down here, and then curves around his leg a bit. He goes a bit more in. Try to make it as soft as possible to really make it look nice. And you just want the edge to be good, because after that we just fill out the rest. Something like this. There we go. And there's a bit more. And then you just fill it out. And his shell goes above the tail, so it went a bit too low here. So you can just hold control to delete mask. So it of course goes up here. And something like this. Double check your mask like once or twice, especially the edge, and of course the middle needs to be complete black. And just make sure you really have a nice soft vibe going here. And it's very difficult with a mouse. It's also difficult with without it, I would say. Now I'm very concentrated. There we go. Because I had the thing on where if I don't push hard, it's gonna make it soft on the edge, and I don't want that. I want it to be exactly what I'm doing, very straight, because I'll rather soften it after. It might be better the other way, but I don't want to take the risk right now. That's something to play around with, I guess. Because the softer it is, the less it's gonna be lifted off from the surface here. So I'm just gonna make my mask very nice. Whoopsie. There we go. Okay, let's say this is good. So what we want to do is you want to go to mask and mask extract. And I don't know about these. I'll just extract. I haven't tried too many. And then we get this, and you're thinking, what the hell did you do? But it's actually just a solidify modifier, basically. So let's set the offset instead of minus. Let's set it to 1, because then it's gonna go outwards instead of inwards. And then you can increase the thickness to however much you like it. And don't want to go too hard. Actually, I'd rather have too little. And then build on this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go like this. I would just save now to be sure. You can also do a backup, like do a copy, Control Shift D, and right click, and call this shell backup, and hide it, and use the other one. It's called this shell. There you go. So what do we do from here? Well, we need to apply the modifier, otherwise it has no thickness. And it's pretty dense, so the first thing we want to do is smooth out this jaggedness. It doesn't look very good. So sculpt mode, bigger brush, make sure you go back to brush and not be in a mask, because otherwise you'll just be painting mask. And do I want to do that? If you click on your smooth brush down here, where is it? There. You can also change the strength from this one. And 0.7 is pretty high, so I'll set it down to 0.2 or 1.5 maybe. Because then when you smooth, it doesn't do it so aggressively. And maybe the best thing here is actually remesh instead. Let me try that. 0.1 remesh, and needs to be 0.005. That's better. Now I can smooth. You can also use the flatten if that gives you better results. I just wanted to not look so jagged on the border here. Work a bit on that. Maybe I also just need to make it even less. Maybe I need to go up to 0.05. Oh, that was too little. 0.01. Because that might fix it a bit better. The higher resolution, the harder it is to do stuff to it, shape-wise, and the lower the higher resolution, the easier it is to make the details. So you kind of have to go a bit back and forth sometimes. Again, make sure you're still in symmetry, of course. Okay, I think we have a shell for now. It doesn't matter that it's not perfect, because now I want to build it up. So I'm gonna select the clay here, and it doesn't work very well now because I need more geometry. So I will remesh it again to 0.05, and on top of that we need to make sure that it doesn't lift the backside, and that's what's happening right now. So you go to, what is it? If you guys remember it, you can let me know. There's a thing where you don't touch the backside. just check it. Front faces only. So you're gonna brush and click on front faces only. So now if I do this, it's not gonna lift off the backside. Great. So it's hard to do. You can actually do another extract if you want instead. Make a mask and then pull out the shell here. That might be better. But let's just try to do it freehand instead. Make it a bit smaller. So I'm just gonna build up the shell here. Or the edge of the shell is called. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to get the shape, so don't worry about the edges. They're can fix them in post. And it's going pretty much out, this shell thingy. More than you actually think. And then the inside is going in a bit, so you can hold control and push it in a bit if you want to. But I think it's easier to just build out the shell instead. And they can spend a little time on that. We're gonna make the edge sharper in a second, when we have enough geometry built up. Enough volume, maybe the right word. Something like this. Like this. Just try to give it like kind of the same thickness most of the way around. I think that's the most important part here. Okay, so now I have this built up and I want to add a little crease. So you can either use the draw sharp or the crease sharp. I think crease is better. And you just build a line here. Just to really separate the outer and the inner shell. There we go. And there we go. And I'm gonna show you another trick with the mask, what it's like more used for. Because right now we don't, if we want to push this in, because right now we have this little bulging. If I do this here with a too big of a brush, I'll select everything. So what you can do is you can actually just click on mask. And you can mask out the area you don't want affected. You of course have to be a bit meticulous here. But let's say this part, this part. Let's say I don't want any of this to be hit by Right, so if I use the flatten tool now, no matter how big it is, I'll only hit this. Of course, at one point you might hit something that was not, what's it called? Mask, but you get the idea. You can always go to mask and clear mask, and you can smooth it out a bit if you need to. You can also just, you know, go with it and just try and not hit it or smooth it out. But it's a way to use the mask, which is kind of nice. And depending on what I'm doing, I do use masks a lot to do that. In this case, it's a pretty simple thing. It's worse if you have like lips you're trying to make, and you keep hitting the upper lip when you need to hit the lower lip, etc. But masks are super useful for a lot of things. And there's a lot more to them than we're gonna cover right now. I just want to show it really fast. There we go. Something like that. I'll move this guy out a bit, smooth it a bit, so we can fix it. Okay, and we actually have a shell going. The last thing we want is, you can, the lines here, you could just paint them with color in the texture paint. But that seems a bit boring, I think. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the mask one more time. And we're gonna carve out the, what's it called? The pattern, it's called. And then we're gonna extract it. So we actually have some mesh for it. So I'm gonna call this a day with this, smooth it out a bit here. And let me go to the mask. And it's important, right now we're selecting everything we want extracted. So I don't want to select the lines here. And the way that works is actually exactly like this. And I kind of think it's not, it's like it's too soft, the mask. It's better. You can always also just, you know, carve everything black here. And then figure out what you need to remove after with control. So like this. Maybe that's easier. So then you just let's say I'll select everything here. Make it very, very, very small. Hold control. And carve a line. Uh-oh. Something like that. So maybe it's easy to just make everything black and then make the lines after. So the same thing we did earlier. So I'm just gonna select the edge whole way around. It's gonna take a bit of time to get the initial edge of the mask, but once you're done with that, it's gonna be a lot faster. So I'm gonna carve. And again, today was just for showcasing. I'm gonna go a bit too fast over it because I don't want to mask all day, but you guys can take a bit more time if you want it to look a bit nicer. There we go. Something like that. Paint everything. Make sure you get everything, because if there are holes in your mask, it's gonna be holes in the mesh you extract, and it's not gonna look good. And here you can just make a big brush. Alright, a bit over halfway. Okay, remember what we're masking is what we're extracting, so we're gonna select everything we want to extract, and then we're gonna remove some lines so we get the pattern we want. Alright, I think I filled out everything. Again, a bit too fast, but I just want to show you guys what we're gonna do. So, I'll zoom in, I'll make the brush pretty small, and what we kind of want is we kind of want this shape. Yeah, so tuk, tuk, tuk. Show it a bit nicer. Want like a hexagon, I think it's called, or is it octagon? No, hexagon, yeah. So put a line up, make a line go out like this, from here you make it go up, and you're gonna make it meet the middle, and try to make it as straight as possible. And we're gonna make this go up here, all the way. Okay, and we also need to get lines from here. Hold Control to invert the mask, and pull it out. Okay, that's not too bad. And this last one. Okay, I think this is actually okay. Let me just try. You can do something called sharpen mask if you want it to be sharper. I don't know if that's good here. You can also smoothen it. Maybe that's actually better. Smooth it. Okay, once you've done all this, you just go to mask, extract mask. Let's just do the standard settings. Let's invert the offset to plus. And what is it doing? Positive. And it's not doing what I want. I think it's because the mask now is too smooth, so I probably need to sharpen it instead. Yeah, that's why. Oh. So don't smooth the mask, sharpen it instead, because otherwise it can't figure it out. Let's see what this gives us. That's better. Hey, there we go. And I'm not gonna make this very high. It's just gonna be there to give the shell look. And it's actually looking a bit like Squirtle right now. Not too bad. And of course, this procedure is the same you would do for the front here. You would carve out these plates, and you know, everything goes out a bit except for these lines here. And you can of course try and smooth them and stuff like that. Okay, nice. Let me just finish off with the hands really quick. So I'm gonna apply the I'm gonna increase the subdivision. I'm gonna apply it, and for the arms, I kind of like them as they are. Maybe a bit rounder up here. So I think I'll just use the inflate tool for this one. So I'm just make it kind of big and very, very softly lift it up. So the more you do it, the more it goes up, right? How do you sharpen it? You go to mask and you click sharpen mask. Don't smooth it, that's gonna ruin it. So mask, sharpen mask. Okay, I can see this needs a lot more geometry for the next trick we're gonna be doing. So what we do, we go to remesh, increase the voxel size. Let's go straight to 0.02. That's better. And I want to pull out the fingers, and there's something called a snake hook. So if I take the mesh here and just pull it out, it's gonna create a finger. The bigger it is, the bigger it pulls out, right? So I think something like this, and a little thumb as well. Nice. That's actually almost exactly what I want. If that's a bit too big, you can just smooth them in a bit. Hold shift, smooth. Still retain the shape. And let me see if I remember this one, because you can actually yeah, there's something called the line project. So if I go to the front view, that's the easiest thing because we kept it flat. Click on the line project and let's see, is it, yeah. So if you carve like this and you do it the right way, you can just carve stuff off and make it perfectly flat, and that's a line project. So again, I'm gonna, let's say I want this arm to be flat here. This is the wrong way. It's gonna cut off everything that's in the gray area. So you just need to do it the other way. So it's gonna be this way. And you can get it flat here. Super nice tool, very easy to use. And if you don't want it to be so flat, you just smooth it out a bit. To get a bit more of a handsy feel. You can blob it up a bit. Just a tiny bit. And we have some hands. His arms are a bit fat here, but again you can just you can use the inflate and hold control to deflate, or you can grab it, or you can carve it in. You can do actually whatever it is that you want for these things. So all the brushes, none of them are magical. They just sometimes they're just more convenient. I honestly don't use a lot of brushes, but sometimes they just seem nifty. Okay, let me finish off with the legs. So I'm gonna go to sculpt mode, go back to object mode. I will give it some more subdivisions, and I'm gonna apply it and shade smooth. Shade this guy smooth too. And let's see, we have exactly the same thing. We have 3 toes going out, and we also want the backside to go out a bit. So sculpt mode. Let's start with the backside, and I think I'm just gonna clay it out actually. So kind of a big brush. Just paint a bit here to give him like a heel. Something like this. Don't know how that's going. You can also again use the inflate tool. Maybe that's better here. To inflate the heel. Give him more, tiny bit more definition. It's still a Pokemon, so we don't want him to have muscles or anything, right? We just want it to be a bit more of an ankle vibe. And let's do the same trick. If we go to, let me see, this view, we can pull the toes out perpendicular to the floor. So I just click on the Z axis up here. And he has 3 toes. Let me start with the middle one. That was way too much. And let me make number 2. And number 3. And I use the grab tool to modify it a bit. Make him go a bit in here. I might need to check my reference. That was actually pretty good first try, if I might say so myself. Like, accidents do happen once in a while. I kind of want them to be a bit more out, so I'll just grab them a bit like this. Bit more out, more in. There we go. And I might smooth everything a bit, just to... And if your smooth doesn't do a lot, that's because we decreased the strength of it. So I can put it back to, I don't know, 0.5. And it's going to do a lot more for the bigger changes you might want to make. And if your heel looks soggy like this, don't worry, we can fix it with the line project we did before. So just hold it exactly at the Y. Make sure you use it the right distance, or the right way. Cut off the base. And probably go back to brush and smooth out just a tiny bit. It's a Pokemon, so it shouldn't be perfect. So, wait, that was too much. See, that's the problem with the smooth being too high. It just goes crazy sometimes. Cool. Alright, I feel like actually that's... Oh, I kind of need the tail too. Forgot about that. Let me see. I need to be more round, so I'm gonna use the grab tool. Oh, am I not the right? Of course, I need to go to the right object. Of course, Click on the tail, go to sculpt mode. And oh, I need to apply the subdivision as well. Just gonna make it a bit bigger. There we go. And the tail has this little thing going in. So I don't know if I can... Okay, I'll try actually. So it just looks like it's a round little thing going out. So I'm gonna use the crease, kinda small. And I need a lot more geometry, I can see. So remesh, go to 0.02, I think. That's plenty. I'll just smooth everything first, because now it's super segmented. And I need my symmetry on, because it fucked it up again. And then remesh it again, smooth it, smooth, 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 smooth. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna redo what I did with the shape a bit. So I'm gonna make this go a bit more up. And use the crease tool. Make it pretty small. It's a bit too big. It's a bit too small. And now I want to get the something like that. And then I kind of want to carve this part in a bit so it gets the right shape. So I'm gonna use the clay strips and I'm gonna hold control and build it in a bit. Don't worry, that looks ugly. We're gonna smooth it out later. Again, remember what I said earlier, remember to build into the surface a bit, like further down as well. So it's not just one spot. And then a smooth, 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 smooth. All the way. You might want to spend a bit of time smoothing because the mesh is so heavy or dense. You can also use the flatten tool a bit, just to give it a bit more of a uniform surface and smooth on top of that. And maybe build a tiny bit upon it. Alright, that's not looking too bad. I feel like we have a squirtle. Oh, I forgot to make some nostrils. Click on the head, sculpt mode. I'm just gonna use the crease again and make two very, very cute. Wait. Did I click the right object? Sculpt. There you go. I think I'm gonna remesh it again. A bit higher, 0.05 to get some more detail. Remember to save. And then I'm gonna make two very cute little nostrils here. And I think this is it, guys. I feel like that's looking a lot like a Squirtle. Could spend a bit more time on the chest part here. But for what it is, I'm pretty pleased with it actually. Last part, it's simply just to add some color really fast. So you go to the little world thing here. Wait, is it crashing? Did I save? Uh-oh. It did not. I'm saving now. Hopefully, yes. Okay, so you go and you add a new material. This I'm gonna make yellow. Can't, and I'm gonna delete the other material. I'm gonna call this yellow. Damn, it's really struggling with this. And then I'm gonna make a material called blue. Blue. And I'll just try the color picker and click here. Make it a bit more dark blue actually. A bit more like that. And both his face and the arms and the legs, they all want the blue material. So you just select it from the drop down. I feel like this needs to be a bit more, the yellow one needs to be less saturated. And the shield here, so we have a problem here that you kinda, no, we don't have a problem actually, because we did make them two different ones. So this can be, let's call it red. Let's try and color pick it. And this is just white. And the eyes, you can kinda, well, you can do the crazy thing. You can remesh them if you want to. So they're lower. So I'm gonna go to sculpt mode. I'm gonna remesh. Not that low. Probably point. Uh, 0.05. That's too low as well. Oh, it's because I haven't applied the modifier. Okay. Let me just apply the mirror, apply the modifier, shade smooth, go to sculpt mode, and let me try and remesh. 0.01. I think that's fine. So if I go to edit mode, click A, U, and Smart UV Project, unwrap, then I can go to texture paint and texture slots, add a new material, base color, let's make them white, and make sure I'm in this mode so I can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna click on the black first, and let's see how they look. So they have this, first off they have this brown tint. Let's color pick it. This brown tint here, that needs to be softer, lighter, like this. I need to select it. So I have this brown thingy. Something like that. And it's just extra. You guys don't need to do this. I just kind of want to try it. I never texture paint. Then I have a black one. So I'm gonna shift, click X to go to this one. And go. Paint all this. And then I need to have a white sphere at the top. Something like this. It's looking really weird. Oh well, it is what it is. So what I can do now is I can just can select all this and delete it, all the vertices, because if I just want the if I want the eye to be on the both sides, I can just add a mirror modifier again. Mirror. And the squirtle has very, very ugly eyes. But it's a squirtle. And of course, if you want to give some paint to the inside here, you can do that either with texture paint, or we could have made an entirely different extract here, or whatever. But I kind of think it turned out pretty well. So that's all, guys. That's how to make a squirtle. And since we made it with the straight arms, you could technically also rig it and make it move and stuff. And of course, you should probably paint this as well. Let me see the sculpt mode. Give me shit. That was too much. I think I'll just quickly just draw on it, just for the fun. So let me see, we have this, and let me U unwrap, angle based. U unwrap. So it seems needs to be added. Okay, but I kind of thought that was the whole idea with the auto unwrap. It's not smart you reject. Okay, of course. And then I would texture paint and make a new material, base color, make it yellow. Make sure I do both sides. Then I just make this very, very small. Oh, maybe I should paint actually like this. This goes down here. This goes like this, and what else? And then this goes. These two go. Is it from here? No, it's from the middle. Out, 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 and you have the shell as well. So that probably don't do that. That's all for today, folks. If you want to share it on the Discord to show the others what they've been missing, do that. I definitely think it's it went well today, for my sake at least. And if you want, you can also try and play around with the lighting that we did last week. That could be a fun little extra thingy. So I think I'm just gonna screenshot it really fast. Extra statistics. Floor. Both from the front and the back. Front. Save. Or just put it up on the Discord. And from the back as well, of course. I really like the back. I think that turned out better than when I practiced it. Texture paint. Alright guys, thank you for today, thank you for those who joined, despite it being so late and holidays and stuff. It's great. Of course the bootcamp will most likely be back as regular hours on Wednesday the 7th. So nothing on New Year's in 2 days, obviously. But the week after we're gonna be back. And we're gonna start over and do it all again. So thank you for today. Have a happy new year, and I will see you all next year, I guess. Alright, I am signing off.